So today I want to talk about one of the longest running anime I have ever watched. An anime that will probably outlive most of us and is probably older than some of the people still watching it, and that is One Piece. Now, One Piece, I'm not even gonna explain One Piece too much, like what it is or what's it about. I'm only gonna go over my experience with it because I'm pretty sure everyone has already seen it. And anyone that hasn't seen it will eventually watch it because everyone that likes to watch One Piece tells everybody else to watch One Piece, and then you end up watching One Piece. Now, One Piece, they are at about 1,000 something episodes, 1,050 if I'm not wrong. It takes a lot of episodes to get to the fucking climaxes in One Piece, and I don't mind that sometimes, but it can definitely get boring. It can definitely get annoying. Now, I started watching One Piece back, like many of us, like many of the older people, back in like early 2000s probably. I was a little kid. I would wake up and watch the very few episodes when they had the original English opening, and anime still wasn't that big back then, like at all. You still get a lot of anime like Inuyasha and all the others, but One Piece was kind of like under the radar, I would say. I don't know if it was like as big as it is now back then. I definitely liked it. I was a big fan. I think the last arc I remember was Chopper was already part of the group, and I think a little bit after that, and I just stopped watching it eventually. Life got to me, and for many years I didn't watch it, many years, until I got older. Once again, I went back to it probably a few years ago, and I said, you know what, what's up with One Piece? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see if I can get back into it. And honestly, just seeing the sheer amount of episodes, I think by the time I wanted to get back into it, they were on episode like 700, I believe. So I was a little late to the party. I was amazed at how far the anime has gone. I was amazed at how popular it had gotten despite being so long, because I think when you see an anime that's so long, it's surprising for it to keep up such a momentum, such a excitement, and for people to be more excited as more episodes come out. I personally have watched many anime that I just kind of drop after a while because they're so long, and then after so many arcs and seasons, it gets repetitive and they can't keep up the storyline. But One Piece is one that people love, like they love with a passion. It's one of the big three of anime that will forever be the big three of shonen anime more than anything. So eventually I said, fuck it, I'm gonna catch up, and I tried to catch up, and I binge watched so much One Piece. I just remember I went through like 3 months of where I just basically dropped everything in my life and said, fuck it, I got the time, and what better way to do it than watching One Piece. And I did. The very first arc I remember that kind of stood out was when they were fighting Crocodile, the warlords. They go through all that. It was a very good storyline. I just hated how much fillers there were, because I kind of had forgotten about fillers at this point because I was watching shorter anime that don't really have fillers. 12, 24 episode animes don't really have fillers, not even like 50 episode animes. But these huge ass animes have so much fucking filler. 1 second they're in, Dressrosa or wherever, and the next thing you know, they're in a fucking completely different setting. And they're like, I think there was an arc where like, well, not even an arc, but just like a bunch of fillers where they were like samurais before they got to Wano, and it was just all pointless as shit. Like, I like One Piece, but I like a storyline more than anything. I can't get into the fillers of any anime. I don't think I've ever seen an anime where I love the fillers. I hate them all. So I got so into One Piece at that point. I'm watching every episode, and there were so many characters I hated with a passion in the beginning that later on they come back, and I just love them. I think they're such badass characters. One character I always kind of hated is Usopp. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just hate him. I think a lot of people like him. I personally cannot stand him. I hate how weak he can be. I hate how much of a bitch he can be. He's never down to go fight. Half the time he's always running away. And even when he got stronger later on recently, he's buffer. He has better plans, better everything. He's gotten stronger with a time skip, but he still acts like a little bitch sometimes, and I kind of hate that about him. But that's his character. I think that's what people like about him, the goofiness. They can't all be badass fighters like Sanji and Zoro and Luffy. And so finally I got to a point where I was watching so much One Piece that I started having dreams about One Piece. I started feeling like I was in the fucking show itself. When they were in the Skypiea, I think it was called, when they go up into the sky and they meet like the kind of what looks like angels, that was a trippy time for me, because I would fall asleep, wake up, watch One Piece, and in my dreams I was in the fucking arc. I needed a break. Eventually I took a break because that shit was giving me headaches, and it was tough. It was like I was trying to speed run like 500 episodes as much as I could while still fucking getting some sunlight and not fucking shriveling up in my room. But As the story progresses, it got real badass. A lot of story building. I remember the one where they fight the giants, and just so much weird ass shit was in the whole storyline, the whole plot of One Piece. One of my favorite arcs though was the Doflamingo arc. That was a badass arc. Doflamingo is one of my most favorite characters. At first, for some reason, I didn't like him. I just kind of thought he was weird when I saw his character design. I was like, what's up with this guy, you know? But he's really a badass character. He's all about business. He's all about making money. He's all about taking over. He takes his job seriously. He's fucking chaotic as fuck. He's real evil. He's almost like I don't want to say like the Joker of One Piece, but kind. I think I just like his laugh a lot. I've always just watched it in Japanese, and he's just one of my favorite arcs. It's one of the times where you see a lot of like the new power struggles within One Piece. You see a lot of new shit come up. I think that's when Luffy gets his Gear 4, and I had already known about Gear 4, and I was waiting so intently for that shit. But it's like in One Piece, you only see Luffy or these badass like moments every like 100 episodes. The rest is just a lot of fun, goofy storyline and like fighting. Another arc I really enjoyed was the one when they were in the prison when Luffy went to go save Ace. That was another badass arc. That's when they got back in contact with Bon, the guy that basically can take people's faces and become them. At first I didn't like him. I just didn't like too much about him. I felt like he was very just cocky and annoying character. But seeing how he was so loyal to Luffy, was in the prison, and how he gave up everything for him and how he just fought, it was so badass. He's probably one of my favorite characters now, because that he went down with the ship. He didn't give a fuck. He's a loyal ass motherfucker at this point. Badass character. I love him. He deserves a lot more recognition, because that was such a great arc. Luffy getting poisoned and going through the pain was all the other characters. I forgot her name. She like stabs him, so he basically tells him he has like a 50-50 chance of dying. It's gonna be excruciating pain to like overcome the poison from the head of the prison, basically. That was another arc that I just want to talk about real quick, because it was really badass. It was a fun arc. One Piece just has so many arcs like that though. Like, some are kind of boring to me, but then it has these arcs that are just their own little world. Like, every little arc of One Piece is its own little world. There's so much unique coloring, so many unique characters, so much new shit going on. It's so amazing what the author is really capable of. I don't know how he's able to just come up with so much shit constantly. I would probably be able to write a fucking story, and by page 5 I'm kind of like, fuck, what should happen next? Meanwhile, this guy, he's just constantly busting down stories and plots, and just so many beautiful sceneries and unique landscapes. And I think they did like an interview with him, and they asked him, so when's the fucking anime gonna end? Is it ever gonna end? And I think they said it will end like in 5 years, or he said it will be a long time before it ends, which to me is like, god damn, what else can you do? Really, so much has happened. And basically we're at a point right now where they finally reached the Wano arc. That's been honestly pretty exciting, but honestly extremely fucking long. I feel like the Wano arc has been going on for like years and years. That's what it feels like. But I think it's been like a year now, maybe 2. I don't know. I have to go back and check. But the Wano arc has been dragged out. I don't know how many times Luffy has to fight Kaido and get his ass beat before he realizes he should probably change up his strategy. I'm sure many of us already know. Spoiler. I read a little bit ahead, and I've been waiting for Gear 5, and we all know that's gonna come out in the next, in One Piece, in the next 6 months maybe. Even though in the chapter, they're technically only like a few chapters away from it, but considering how it's dragged on, we probably won't see it for another 3 months. So that's basically where I'm at today with One Piece. It's a never-ending cycle of just sometimes badass characters, sometimes annoying characters, great fights, just random ass fillers, and a whole lot of world building. I don't think there's any other anime that can really compete with One Piece in its world building. Nothing. Hunter x Hunter, I thought was gonna do that, because they were going into like the new chapter where it's like the Dark Continent. I thought they were kind of do something similar and challenge One Piece, but that's never gonna fucking come out at this point. One Piece, just, I would say it's one of the best anime out there. I can't think of, it's definitely in the top 10 of my list. I can see why a lot of people would have it as their number 1, because it's just great. You know, there's nothing like it quite out there like it. Not even Dragon Ball Z, not even Naruto. They each have their own charm, but One Piece really has it down pat with the fucking world building and the weirdness. They make the food look good. I love all the characters. Zoro, Sanji, Chopper. Chopper's a badass little character. He has such a fucked up life, and it's crazy how they all just find happiness thanks to Luffy in a way. Luffy brings them happiness, and I guess that goes back to, you know, the spoiler. I'm not too sure who Joy Boy is. I'm not too sure what his purpose is. I think it's to bring down the main guys at the top that wear the little fucking domes. What are the names? I forgot, to be honest. they haven't really been shown lately. It's just been a lot of Wano, a lot of Luffy fighting, and it's kind of crazy because I just realized a lot of the big pirates, they're just basically like drug dealers. Like, they're just, the smile fruits are basically drugs that they're testing on the city, on the people, and Kaido's basically manufacturing these apples, aka fucking drugs, of One Piece, and give them to Doflamingo, where he will sell them to his people, and they're all basically just fucking, yeah, they're basically just real criminals. It's kind of weird because it's like the same idea like in the real world, but they kind of, you know, cartoonify it. It was like apples and like turn people into fucking zombies like dolls, but it's kind of like they're just like addicts. It's some crazy shit. Like, I thought about it like probably 3 in the morning. I was probably just up and wondering like, this whole time they're just selling drugs. But yeah, that's all I just want to talk about. Just rant a little bit about One Piece because god dang, it's never ending. I'm probably like 5 episodes behind right now. I mean, it's not going nowhere really. I definitely recommend it. I think everybody should watch it. I know for a lot of people it's really hard. If it's your first time watching anime, I don't recommend it at all. I think it'd be too much pressure. It'd be too much of a task at hand to watch something so big. I say start with something smaller. 12 episode animes are always great. And I mean, yeah, that's all I really want to talk about. Just rant about One Piece and how I fell from it, came back to it, and I'm here today, older, and still watching it. I'll probably be like fucking 40, and who knows if that shit will be going. I'll be in my mid 30s. I don't know how long the author can keep it going, but let me know in the comments what you think about One Piece. Is it your favorite anime? Do you think it's overrated, underrated? What character is maybe your favorite at all of them? For me, it's probably Zoro, to be honest. Maybe Luffy would be too basic. I just like Zoro a lot. I think Zoro's a badass. He came from the bottom with Luffy, and now he's there just busting ass, kicking ass as his right-hand man. They're all great characters. Robin's badass too. We all know why. I think we all know why we like Robin and Nami. Great characters. Let me know in the comments what you feel about this, about them, about everything of One Piece. And I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.